Right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the final episode of of Nurse Me. So this one is actually gonna be a bit more intriguing, and actually, it has its happy ending. Yes, it has a happy ending. So basically, it's gonna be about we got Yumi, who's being basically extorted to do whatever the doctors and the head nurses want because that's what basically she's been going through. She's been put through the fucking ringer, mind you. So without further ado, I don't think I have anything much to say other than the fact that this was actually good and the plot was actually talk about plot twist. What the dog? When I'm gonna show you guys piece by piece what exactly took place, and I'm gonna explain it even further. So without further ado, let's get right into this. So in this last episode, we get a confrontation. Yes, we started off with a dread confrontation between Dr. Miura and Risa, the red-headed freak. And she was like, wait, why are you doing this to Yumi? And why do you think that this is happening? And the doctor is like, well, I never really liked her that way. I just seen her as a toy. And that is all. But he's trying to beat the allegations that he raped her and all of that, which is indeed true because at first initially she thought that she had liked him. At least what that's what Risa thought. Risa thought that she was dating him because she wanted a favor or preferential treatment, but that was not the case. It turns out that he's actually manipulating her and using her as a way of fulfilling his lust, let's just say. And things got wild from here because Miura ended up fighting her and Risa was trying to fight her way out of the situation and things got physical and to the point where even the purple-headed bitch walked in and she was like pretending that none of this was going down. Like there was a lot of scrapping going on, and during the whole session that he was putting Risa through, the doctor was like, don't worry, I'm in the middle of something, I'll be handling that afterwards. And then she just walked off. And while all of this was going on, Takayuki ended up requesting one final thing from Yumi, and Yumi was taken aback by this request. And he was like, well, listen, since I'm going to leave the hospital very soon, I need you to do this one last thing for me. And she said, all right, no problem. She did everything he said. She was complicit, not really complicit, she was compliant, right? That's the word I was looking for, not complicit, compliant. She was compliant to his request, and then he said, well, she actually ended up telling him that she wanted a request herself, and and he was like, okay, well, so what's up? So she was like, you can do me from behind, not from the front, but from the back door. And he was like, oh, word? So Brody was like admiring it before he going inside. Now, in this next scene, we're gonna show that Yumi is actually helping out a patient. Maybe not in the most moral way possible, but she did help him. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So, in this scene is where we get to see the patient suffering from impotency, meaning that he can't get hard. He's suffering from the ED, which is erectile dysfunction. Now, Yumi is with her and she's helping him out, and he's suffering from this, and he wants to watch. So he was like, so she was taken aback and she was like, hella surprised by this request. And she was like, huh? She said, I don't want to hear nah, huh? But get to it. And she does it at first reluctantly, but then she just really got in tune with it, you know? So the point where Brody got extremely hard, pause, and the purple-headed bitch right here decided to help him out with that little, the hot dog on the bun type of, let's just go with that, but anyways, she ended up having the biggest orgasm, and Brody was so thankful. He was like, I have never thought I would have been this hard, pause. And she was very happy to help a patient, maybe again not in the most moral way, but at least she helped him. And for this next scene, this is where the final confrontation happens. And trust me, it's gonna be a doozy. So in this very final scene, we get to see that she was being pulled into a room by Funato himself, and he pulls out a knife on her and he says, listen, I'm blaming you this time because you're the reason why Risa got raped in the first place, and you're gonna help me by getting my revenge on this doctor. And she was like surprised by his reaction, and then he asked her, listen, I need you to go to that hotel and lure him there. And she was like very shocked. And she's like, why would I need to help him? And he's like, well, he prefers you. So, and he's the only one that he's been targeting. You're the only one he's been targeting. So you're gonna have to be a little, distraction, let's just say. And she of course agreed to the idea, because again, when she saw the look on Risa's face, she was literally soulless. She looked so hollowed, which was wild, by the way. So she ended up taking up she ended up taking the responsibility and ended up following his orders. Now, this is where things got really confrontational. So he ended up in his suite and he ended up kicking the door open before he actually ended up penetrating her. And they ended up taking the mistress as well and ended up kicking them in the dick. Oh, I felt that. And she also was like, didn't want to look because she was so stressed due to the fact that this was going on. And here's where the plot twist really kicks into high gear. After the fact that they ended up rescuing Yumi supposedly, they was about to grab her too. And then we see the purple-headed bitch and Risa knocking out the two dudes. And she was like immensely crying because she was so confused as to who was actually saving her. Because at first she thought the two dudes were supposed to save her, but no, they was about to take advantage of her. But then Risa and the other girl ended up rescuing her. And yeah, about the happy ending, they ended up going into a threesome. Yeah, a whole three-way, three girls. Yeah. No cup. I was like, damn, talk about happy endings. And for those, that was great. Overall, I'm gonna have to rank this. If I'm gonna rate it overall, 3 episodes, yeah, this is definitely a 9.5 out of 10. Because one, it's uncensored. Two, the build up and the character development was amazing. And three, talk about plot twist. What the actual hell? That was like wild. Not gonna lie. I thought like the two dudes was gonna legit and sincerely gonna rescue this girl from distress, but it turns out they were no better than Dr. Miura himself. But anyways, I think that was it for this video, guys. I'm gonna upload a new series soon. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What was your favorite scene? What was your most? But to me, my favorite scene was the whole confrontation where they ended up in the hotel. Bro ended up getting kicked in the dick, and also because what Miura was not expecting is the fact that he saw a scar after he did that first in the second episode when they was about to grape Yumi for the first time, and that's where payback's a bitch. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Again, I really appreciate your support. And until then, peace out. And also enjoy the rest of your weekend. Again, if you guys want to play with me, you guys can add me as Saucy on the This is Farlight 84. It's free on mobile, PC, and yeah. So we can chat up a little bit and we can have a proper conversation. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Again, thank you all I really appreciate you guys. No, I really cannot stress how much I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And if we can reach 1,000 subs before Christmas, that'll be like the greatest gift I could ever receive. Anyways, have a good one and peace out.